Before Vrindavan, there was the journey. A train cutting through endless fields, wheels clashing against iron tracks. Inside, the air vibrated with bhajans. Voices rising together, calling the name of Krishna. Outside the window, trains passed one after another. And inside my heart, one question kept returning: when will we arrive? And then, the board appeared. One word: Vrindavan. Every wall carried the mark of devotion. The old temple stood firm, untouched by centuries, unchanged by time. Krishna once walked here. This was not just a town, this was his playground. My first step was towards Banke Bihari Ji. With trembling hands, I carried flowers. The closer I moved, the louder the chants grew, the heavier the air became with devotion. And then, I stood before him, his eyes alive, playful, mischievous. Banke Bihari was not looking at me, he was looking through me. In that moment, I understood. Faith is not something you create. Faith is something you encounter. Next came ISKCON. Voices rising high, hundreds of hearts dancing together. Kirtan filled the air, mridanga drums echoed like thunder. I joined, I danced, I sang until my voice broke, and I realized something. It did not matter who I was. In that temple, under that roof, we were no longer strangers. We were one family, bound not by blood, but by the holy name of Krishna. And then the night fell. Prem Mandir lit up like the heavens had descended onto earth. Colors danced across the marble walls. Lights shimmered like stars brought down to our feet. Children laughed. Families smiled. Standing there, I realized Prem Mandir is not just a building. It is a reminder that love itself is God's greatest temple. And then the awaited moment came. Before the arrival of Premanand Maharaj, hands carefully laid flowers on the ground, shaping them into rangolis of devotion. And then he entered. The atmosphere changed. Silence broke into thunderous chants, voices trembled, and tears rolled down faces. In his presence, I understood. And in that moment, I felt Krishna was not far. Then came Raman Reti, soft sands, the very dust where Krishna once played with his friends. I rolled in that sand, I danced, I laughed. Even the deer nearby seemed touched by the peace of this sacred place. And as the dust covered me, I realized this was not just soil. This was the touch of his childhood. My feet then carried me to Govardhan, the mountain Krishna once lifted on his little finger. And then Yamuna, her waters calm, eternal, timeless. The same river that watched Krishna play, sing, and steal hearts. I stood by her banks, flute in hand. As I played, the sound carried across the water, and in that gentle breeze, I felt something. At Radha Kund, silence itself felt sacred. They say these waters are Radha's love, and as I touched them, I felt a stillness deep inside. From there, the road led to Barsana. The air was alive with songs, the beats of kirtan pulling everyone into a whirl of devotion. Before Radha Rani's darshan, we danced. Not to impress, not to perform, but to dissolve. And then standing in the front, I saw her, Radha Rani, the queen of love, the heartbeat of Vrindavan. In her eyes, I did not see an idol. I saw the very meaning of love itself. In Nidhivan, paths narrow into mystery. Countless trees stand like guardians of a secret. Whispers say Radha and Krishna still dance here at night. And in that heavy silence, I believed it. At Banshivat, women sang Radha's name. It was not music, it was prayer made sound. I wandered into ancient temples, hidden, forgotten by the crowds. Cracked walls, silent halls, yet they felt alive. Because devotion does not die with stone. Sometimes the most broken places hold the most unbroken presence. My journey then reached the Vaishno Devi temple of Vrindavan, a towering murti of Mata Rani standing strong. There, I did not feel like a visitor. I felt like a child standing before his mother. And then a moment of humility. A Brijvasi standing quietly, fanning the crowd with a panki. In that moment, I realized love is not always loud. Sometimes, love is silent. And then it was time to leave. As the train moved, I whispered to myself, Vrindavan is not a place you visit. Vrindavan is a place that visits you. It enters your soul and refuses to leave. And though the train carried me away, I knew this was not the end. Because once you have touched Vrindavan, Vrindavan lives within you forever.